Hi, and welcome to our Retired Nomad Adventures.
I'm Retired Rick.
And I'm Daphne, and we are a retired couple who sold everything to travel the world about a month at a time. And this month we are in Antalya, Turkey, a beautiful little seaside town, and we've been here for almost a month now. And whenever we come to a new location, we sort of have a list of criteria we apply to that location to see, is this a place that we could see ourselves living longer term?
And when we're talking about longer term, we're talking about 3 months or even 2 months at a time, where we can come back and spend that whole time, 2 or 3 months, and then go back home and then go to another location. So in our mind, that's what long-term living in a place would be.
Yeah, about 3 months. Okay, so in Antalya, we're here because we are in Turkey, and so we spent our first amount of time, our first chunk of time, we were in Istanbul. So we knew we wanted to experience someplace a little different than Istanbul, and so Antalya fit the bill. It's a beautiful coastal seaside town where Istanbul was a nice bustling big city. So we definitely got to shift gears here and relax in this sort of resort beach vibe location.
And once we found out water was nearby, you knew we were going.
Yeah, beautiful water. So we have our list, and so we'll take you through that now. So first thing we look at is how big is the place. And so the population here is about 1.3 million, and you wouldn't guess that though.
Well, where we're at is a tourist area, and it's by the sea. So I was surprised that it was over 1 million people, because it doesn't feel like that here.
Me too, and I feel like whenever you go outside of this walled city area, like we're really surprised at how modern and big and bustly the city sort of feels. Like there's big shopping centers, there's big malls, there's a whole big city outside of our little walled Kaleiçi area. But each city has each part of the city has its own little neighborhood. And so I feel like those neighborhoods make it feel much smaller than over 1 million people. So it doesn't feel like a big city here at all. We always take a look at crime and safety, and this is such a peaceful, friendly, relaxed atmosphere and vibe here. The crime index is very low, and we feel very safe here.
We see police presence, but it seems like it's the traffic officers. They're usually on a motorcycle, and 2 of them are on a motorcycle at a time. Or there might be, like we noticed that there was some demonstration the other day, and there was police officers there, but they were just staging off to the side, I think just there, just in case something happens. But
yeah.
There are police presence, but it's a safe city.
It feels relaxed. Even when you see police on the street, they seem very relaxed, so it makes me feel very relaxed. And then, of course, we've mentioned this before, but through the U.S. Embassy, we have signed up for the STEP program, and so then you just switched our location from Istanbul to Antalya, and we've received a couple of alerts about the possibility of fires, and then there was an earthquake while we were here. It didn't impact us, but we also got that alert. So that feels really nice to be connected in that way. Next thing we look at is how does everybody make their money here? And you can really tell that tourism is the main industry here. And for us, that's really great because that means there's lots of activities and restaurants and short-term rental opportunities and that kind of stuff. So tourism is the main industry.
But also agriculture. When we went on a tour, they were telling us that they are a big distributor in distributing produce, fruits and vegetables throughout the world.
Yeah, so agriculture and tourism. We like to come to places during the season where we can get the best weather, and that's not always possible because we do travel during the summer. So we're here, so the climate here, it's a Mediterranean climate, and so during the summer it's hot, and of course you have shoulder seasons that are probably the best seasons to come, which is April through June, and then like October through September, or September through October. But we're here in the summer and it's definitely hot.
It's hot, which is fine, but it gets worse when the humidity goes up. So
yeah.
You just have to be careful and know if you go out and it's humid, you're going to really notice it, and you're not going to be able to spend as much time out. So you might have to stop and get a drink somewhere.
Yeah, get a drink somewhere. We tend to come back in the afternoon, and then also know that it doesn't cool down much at night. It kind of stays, the temperature stays pretty consistent. You wake up and it's about 89 degrees, and when you go to bed it's about 89 degrees, and then throughout the day it kind of goes up from there.
It's great for drying your clothes.
It really is. So a few of these next things we're going to go through rather quickly because we've covered them really in depth, either in our first impressions of Antalya video or in last week's video where we took you out and about and had you spend a few days with us. So let's cover them, but cover them quickly. Okay, so here we go. Is Antalya walkable? And the answer to that, because we always do care, we walk, so we want to make sure it is. The answer is yes.
It's walkable. There's not a lot of hills. There are a couple of hills here and there, but for the most part, it's fairly flat.
Yep, so we'll give that an absolute absolute check.
Yep.
Yes, it's walkable. And then how about public transportation? So we always take a look at that too. If we decide we want to use some public transportation, which we did here.
Easy, the bus, Ubers, taxis, they're all here.
Yep. And then the next thing we look at is things to do. So are there things to do to keep us from being bored here? And the answer to that is 100% yes. There are plenty of things to do. In fact, in last week's video, we planned to just take you out for one day, and we ended up having to give you 3 days of activities because there was so much that there is to do. For us, we mostly like to go walking, kind of exploring the beautiful Old Town streets. There's the ocean here, or the sea here, the Mediterranean Sea, and so we've spent lots of time out on the water, either in boats or on beach days. And then, of course, there are day excursions you can go on. So there's plenty to do. And if you want specifics, take a look at last week's video. We've got some great ideas there for you.
We also like to eat and drink, so you'll be covered there too.
Well, and in next week's video, when we go over our budget, I think you'll see that that's where we've spent all of our money. So we kind of covered the next 2 items. Is it near water, and then what's the food scene? And so yes, this is a beach city, so it is definitely around water. And some places we go to are near water, but it's not exactly the kind of water that we're looking for. Antalya absolutely is. It's a beach town, and so you can get your fix of all the water activities that you want to do, which is what I really look for.
And the food scene is it's just fantastic. You can get any type of food you want, and it's really flavorful, and you'll enjoy it.
The real standouts here in terms of the food scene is really the atmosphere. We eat all of our meals outside and in different locations, and it really somehow adds to the flavor and the fun of the food. So the standout is the atmosphere. And then I would say in terms of cost, you're looking at about $20 for lunch and about $40 for dinner for 2 people.
Right.
The next thing we look at if we're going to be someplace for any length of time is what's the healthcare system like? And we felt confident coming to Antalya that the healthcare system, just like in all of Turkey, is really good. Medical tourism is very popular here, so people come to Antalya specifically for medical care. Cosmetic surgery is very popular, fertility is very popular, dental work is very popular here, so we felt very confident here. And I've been struggling with some pain in my tailbone for about 5 months, and I just keep thinking it's going to get better. It just doesn't seem to get better. So while we were here, we thought, well, let's check the medical system out here. And so there were plenty of hospitals to choose from. We kind of looked at some reviews, and so we found one hospital, Memorial Hospital, seemed like it was close to us and also had great reviews. So we messaged them through WhatsApp to see about setting up an appointment, and they messaged right back, and I got an appointment within 2 days. I explained to them that I was probably going to need an x-ray, and then I also explained to them that it would be nice if I could have a doctor who spoke English.
What was nice is once we got there, we went right to the front counter. They directed us where we needed to go. We showed them our messages on WhatsApp. They sent us kind of downstairs where it was everything, the doctor's office, everything. And we went to the counter. They checked us in, and they also called in an interpreter that just basically stayed with us and made sure we were in the right spots all the time and walked us to each individual section that we had to go to.
Yeah,
It was amazing.
She took such good care of us, so she would explain every different part of the process to us, and so we sat and waited just for a few minutes while they sort of scanned our passport and all of that. Then they took us, it was interesting, they took us to the doctor's office, or like the exam room. She knocked on the door and opened the door, and the doctor was sitting in there waiting for us, which was surprising because back in the States, normally we're the one waiting in the room until the doctor is ready to see us. The doctor in this case was actually a surgeon, which also felt just like an elevated experience. Yeah, so it didn't need a surgeon, but in the event that I would have, they made sure that they paired me with the right person to really take a look at my problem. I explained it to him. He gave me a very quick exam and then sent us over for some x-rays. They did a couple of x-rays. That took
even before that, what was nice is we wanted to make sure that that our insurance was accepted.
Cigna Global, we talked about that a couple of videos ago.
They said it was, and they gave us a price on what our doctor's consultation would be, and also the x-rays, and we agreed to that price, so we paid right there, and then she took us over to x-rays. So it was very efficient, no surprises whatsoever.
Well, what she said was that they couldn't verify what coverage we had on our insurance, but they gave us a discount for having the insurance. And so she told us the price to visit the doctor was going to be $150 before she verified our insurance. Then then after we saw the doctor, we came out and she told us it was going to be like $90 for the x-ray. Ultimately, in the end, with the discount that she gave, so I got 2 x-rays. I met with the surgeon before and after the x-rays, and then he gave me some prescriptions just for pain medication. Turns out there's no break, there's no anything, I just need to be patient. And the total cost was $201, and we were in and out of there in less than an hour.
Yep.
And it was a beautiful, modern facility with a very, I felt very confident and in capable hands.
Yes.
So I'm very impressed with our little experience in the medical system here, and so I feel positive about Turkey's medical.
It's unfortunate that we had to go, but we knew that if we needed x-rays and stuff, we wanted to come here and try out the healthcare system, and very impressed with it.
All right, and so the next category we take a look at is cost of living. And in terms of the medical care, you could see like very cost effective. As we look at our time here, Turkey, has been hit by inflation. It's still much cheaper here than it is back in the United States.
Right.
But when we look at being somewhere for a long period of time, we look to see, could our budget stretch through that period of time? And I will say that I think the answer to that is yes. But we'd have to be very mindful.
We'd have to work at it.
Yes. So we got a really good deal, I feel like, on our Airbnb. So we are paying about $1,600 for almost a month here, so 28 days. And that was fantastic. But I looked again a couple of months ago to see what was available, to see if we needed to make any changes. And there was nothing even close to that. Everything was at least double that cost. And so I booked a year in advance. So that was really important. And then when we go out to eat, we really do take a look at the cost of everything, and even the tours. Like, I really scour to try to find the best prices. And that's because you could really let things get out of control here.
And usually when we go to a restaurant just to see if we want to eat there or not because of the price, we'll check one or two things. We're gonna check like some soups. How much are soups? How much is a Diet Coke? How much is a glass of wine, or how much is a beer? And based on that, we know if the restaurant is within our budget or not.
Yes, and we have also found that there are tourist prices for things. And so there's one restaurant owner that we've become friendly with, and so he kind of explained some of that to us. But I have noticed shopping. So there were a couple of things I was hoping to get. I was hoping to get a pair of sunglasses here, and just at a random sort of side of the street sunglass place, the cost for the sunglasses there is $35, and they're just sort of knockoff cheap sunglasses. And so that was surprising. I looked at a couple of outfits, like linen outfits that were hanging on the outside of shops. Those were over $80 each. There was a really cute skirt I wanted, and it was like $75. So I think that the prices here for tourists might be a little high.
Well, we even checked with one of the owners of the restaurant that we were eating at where I could get a haircut. I'm about due for a haircut, and he pointed across the street and said, well, for a tourist, they're going to charge you 1,000 lira, which is about $25. He goes, but if you go over there, let me know. I'll go over there and tell him you can get it for about 600 lira, which is about $15. So you got to be careful. I mean, I don't like the idea of tourist prices and regular prices, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So cost of living here, I think manageable. You can do it. You just have to be mindful.
Right.
All right, so our last little bits of criteria is kind of what's the overall vibe, and then do we think we could live here long term? And I would say the overall vibe is really relaxed, it's scenic, it's sort of beachy, it's like a resort kind of living.
It's definitely a tourist area.
Yeah, in the best way.
Yeah.
So definitely tourist, so if you don't like that, you might not like it here. We don't mind that, actually. We don't mind that. So it's in the best way, it's super relaxed and picturesque. And because it's surrounded by so much water, you would think that our answer to this question about whether or not we could live here would be yes. Because honestly, the town is really up our alley, and our time here has flown by. Like every day we keep saying, can you believe how fast the time is going here? So I'm surprised that for me, the answer is No. And the reason it's no is because I feel like I might like to try out a couple of other coastal, sort of Turkish, Mediterranean seaside towns. And so when we were looking to come here, Antalya, there's an airport right in Antalya. And so it just seemed like the easiest of the coastal towns to come to because we could land here and then just easily drive here. But there were a couple of other places like Bodrum and Fethiye that I was definitely interested in. And so I feel like I'd rather try out some other locations first before we would consider cycling back here.
So could you live here?
No, not long term. I think I might be, even though the time has gone by fast, we've had a lot of work that we wanted to get done. So we've kind of had lots of work days peppered into our out and about days. I think I might get a little bored and I'd like to check out a few other places.
And same with me. I couldn't live here long term. I believe I would get bored. We have gotten a lot of work done. So we would get up in the morning, we'd have breakfast, have our coffee, do some work, go out and have lunch. And then it seems like we're always eating and coming back in. So I think I would get bored. It's a tourist area. I like it. I've enjoyed the time here for a month, absolutely. But to live here long term, I couldn't do it.
And I think the ideal amount of time to spend here if you were vacationing would be about a week. We gave you a 3-day itinerary and you could hustle and bustle sort of through that. But I'd say an ideal amount of time to spend here in terms of vacation is about a week.
I agree.
Okay, so we hope this is helpful if you're considering a trip to Antalya. We did love it here. It's just not a place we would add for our long-term stay.
Right.
And then we hope you join us next week as we detail for you our budget for our time here. But until then,
Bye.
bye.